Hi, everyone. I'm John Egilo, President and CEO of Axo Metals. Our primary asset is the now near-term production and permitted San Antonio gold project in the northern state in Sonora, Mexico.
John, because wasn't so long ago we were talking about all the things that you're doing on the ground, but I think the big news we were waiting for was the permit. It's come through. What's that? How does that change things?
I mean, it de-risks us massively, right? You know, when we talk about, in general, companies developing a mine, you know, the one biggest thing that's outside of your own control, quite frankly, is the permit. And, you know, I think it's a bit of a testament to the group. I mean, between Go Gold, Silver Tiger, and now Axo, of course, we're all kind of part of the same company, same share in-country expertise in Mexico and share overlapping founding shareholders. You know, this is the third permit that the group's got in about 10 months. So yeah, it massively de-risks the project. It basically it certifies the timeline we were on before, because we know we won't have to wait for really anything else from the government.
Okay, but what does it unleash? What were you not able to do before that you can do now?
The permit allows us to do a couple things. One is, you know, we're looking at ways, now that we got the permit, quite frankly, I think faster than the market was expecting, right? When we picked up the project and closed on it at the end of January, we were guiding people towards, you know, a 1-year permitting process, which would put us in Q1 of 2027. So I think we surprised people on the timing by only taking 6 months to get it. So now we're looking at ways of, okay, since this came 6 months earlier, what are ways that we can get into production faster? You know, I point people to, before, when we acquired San Antonio from Cisco Development, they were doing something in 2021 where they were processing stockpiles. You know, so they produced about 13,000 ounces on a heap leach pad of, you know, 0.6 grams per ton. So I'd say nothing really changes on the development timeline for getting the main asset, Sapuchi, built, which is our starter pit at San Antonio. But now with the permit in hand, earlier we're looking at ways, okay, is there stockpile processing or what's still left over at site that we can try to restart as quickly as possible to get into production?
Fantastic. And obviously there are a multitude of different types of permits. So maybe can you talk to some of the additional permits that you're going to be looking to? Obviously change of use of soils, etc., things like that coming down the line. They're not as difficult and not as timely as this. So, but what's left to do?
Yeah, I'd say, well, for one thing, the stockpile processing that we were looking to accelerate doesn't need a change of use at all. We're fully permitted for that as everything stands. So yesterday we put out the approval of the environmental impact statement, which is the main permit in Mexico. It's called the MIA. That is the thumbs up, rubber stamp, green light from the environmental body of Mexico in SEMARNAT. There's a, you know, what's going to be, quite frankly, very simple follow-up administrative procedure that we started actually back in May, called a change of use of land, which is, you know, after SEMARNAT has already given the green light to approve the environmental merits of the whole project. There's a sub-body within SEMARNAT where you basically develop a tree clearing plan. So that was SEMARNAT's preference this go around, where they said, okay, before we get started on a tree clearing plan, you know, let's not put 1 foot too far in front of the other. Let's wait till you get full approval for the project, and then, you know, a tree clearing plan will come into place. But we'll get that tree clearing plan, which is called the change of use of soils, by the end of this year. And quite frankly, I think the same way we were being conservative on the permitting timeline, I'd say maybe we're being conservative on this change of use timeline as well.
Okay, so let me get it clear. So the MIA gives you everything that you need in terms of what you hope to do in the PEA with regards to Sapuchi, with regards to California and what I think I said, Golfo de Oro. Will you need amendments to the MIA, or can you work without that?
The MIA doesn't need any amendments whatsoever.
Right.
The MIA covers all the deposits. It covers Sapuchi, it covers Golfo de Oro, it covers California. We don't need anything else to get into kind of phase one of what we think is stockpile processing. What we need the change of use of land for is before we were to mine Sapuchi or Golfo de Oro, California. But, you know, quite frankly, the change of use isn't going to affect our timeline of those development deposits whatsoever.
Okay, and so. And just want to be clear, because it's really, really important. So it's a big. This MIA is a big deal. So in terms of all the kind of technical inspections required in terms of the CIC plan, the leach facilities, crusher, etc., that is included.
Yes.
Got it.
100%.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. In terms of, obviously, we talked a couple of months back, and we talked about some of the things that you were getting up to. I'd like to see how things are kind of progressing on the ground. Obviously, you've got the money to do what you want to do. So, what was the next sort of most important thing to you? Obviously, there's a lot of drilling going on, so I guess that would be next thing to discuss. So how much have you got done since we last spoke?
Yeah, well, since I guess we last spoke in June, we're probably drilling about 3,000 meters a month right now to give you a sense. We have 3 drill rigs going. Interestingly enough, since we last spoke, there's always been 1 drill rig that has been infilling at Sapuchi, which is a starter pit. We now have 2 other drill rigs that are focused on expansion. And we're drilling in an area that's about 500 meters outside the resource boundary. So now, actually, as opposed to when we were speaking in June, 2/3 of our drilling capacity is actually focused on resource expansion. I'd say that's not really a fluke. We're drilling into an area where, sure, there's no resources in there, but I'd say it is a relatively, higher degree of confidence for exploration drilling. And I don't think we'd be spending a lot of resources and money on step out drilling in this one specific area unless we had high confidence that we think it's going to deliver.
Right. And okay, so you talked about the type of drilling and the where, and that delivers into the next economic study.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so how much will you be able to get in how much more will you be able to get into that study, and when's that study targeted for?
Yeah, so initially the plan, at least when we first spoke last time, was to take the old resource, not included any of this newest drilling, and put it into a PEA and an economic study to get it out in September. With some of the drilling and some of the things that we're looking to do on the resource expansion side, as things have played out over the past 6 or 8 weeks, we now are coming to the conclusion that it makes more sense to include an updated resource, but push the PEA out by a few months. So now if we're looking at a PEA around September, we'll be able to include drilling from once we started drilling on a project in December all the way up until, October. And we think pushing out the PEA by another 2 months, but including, what we think will be, it's a much better resource, will be worthwhile.
What gives some of those grades? I've obviously seen a few press releases. What gives a sense of what you're finding?
Yeah. The last press release, we were seeing, I believe there was a 25 meter intercept at, north of 2 grams per ton directly from surface. So far we haven't put out any of these expansion drill holes. We really started drilling those, about 6 weeks ago. The plan there is to put together a drilling update for September. It'll probably come around the middle of September or around the 3rd week of September. That will be more of include some of our step out and resource growth style drilling. Right now, so far, the results we've released are infilling at Sapuchi, which in and of itself, you can go back and look at our releases. Like there's cross sections there where it's within the pit, but there's not resource blocks covering it. We drill through some waste and, we're finding not waste. Like we're finding stuff above cutoff grade. So we're converting some waste into ore at Sapuchi. So even the model itself, we think is incrementally improving. But a big driver is going to be some of this new drilling that we're seeing outside the resource.
But you've also been looking at some structural mapping and some channel sampling, etc. So, which presumably won't make it into the next study. So, why expend energy there if you're really kind of focused on trying to get into mining? That's the name of the game, right?
We don't really want to just sit on our hands and wait until we're in production to be producing good drill results. Like we picked up this project when it had 1.1 million ounces on the resource books, and we've never had the opinion that 1.1 million ounces is really close to the actual scale of the project. So it was never our intention to pick it up and then sit around for 2 years and then drill it out later. We have the financial capacity to do both at the same time right now, and our investors want to see it, and that's part of the reason why we took a little bit probably more money than we needed in January. We took $40 million. That was specifically to be able to do expansion drilling, target some of these areas that aren't necessarily part of the startup plan, but definitely add value.
Right. Okay. And that also involves drilling deeper you continue down below Las Marias. I understand that. Will you continue to allocate capital there?
So that was so you're talking about La Huerta, the copper project in that one.
Yeah.
So at the additional money we raised, quite frankly, had been earmarked for San Antonio. Especially on the back of this permit with San Antonio, we're having to take a look and reassess what we want to do with La Huerta, because it's very difficult to advance two projects full gas at the same time. So nothing necessarily has been changing at La Huerta, but when we have a permit now for San Antonio, it's, we can spend our resources on developing San Antonio to push it to production, to growing the resource at San Antonio, which is going to be our first mine into production. It's hard to stretch that to a third key priority of, spending a lot of money at La Huerta as well.
Good. Okay. I guess that's what folks want to hear in terms of, the right place to put capital now. So in terms of the work around the network then, if we're sticking with Sapuchi, I mean, what else have you been up to? Have you done any more column test results, or have seen any more?
Yeah. I mean, the economic study coming out in the fall is a PEA. Quite frankly, if we just needed metallurgy work at a PEA level, we wouldn't have to be doing any of this. Like, we're doing work especially on the heap leach startup pit component, we're doing metallurgy work far beyond PEA level, and it's going to be feasibility study level. So what that means for those who are familiar with heap leach metallurgy is you have bottle roll tests, which are kind of a good indicator of roughly what you can get for recoveries, which we're doing that. But more importantly, we have column tests underway, several column tests across Sapuchi, which are going to feed into to the economic study coming out in the fall. Okay, fine.
And obviously, as you're kind of moving through the phases quite quickly, right? And eyes firmly on the prize of, let's get some revenue fly. In terms of the team build out, obviously, pretty tight market out there. How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, it's going well. Right now we have everyone that we need for what we're currently doing. Before Sapuchi gets into full stage construction, which we expect to be coming next year, we are still going to add some key personnel, within Mexico. And I'd say this is not something too dissimilar to, I guess one of our sister companies, Silver Tiger, did, where they transitioned from, more of a pure exploration team to when it came time to build El Tigre, which they're doing right now. They added personnel with specifically Mexican open pit heap leach mine building experience.
Okay. I guess, when you're kind of moving quickly and in a market which is kind of moving sideways, does your thinking changed at all? Silver prices come off a bit, markets come off a bit, but you're cash. So how have things changed when you're sort of sitting around the boardroom having a chat about the way forward?
Quite frankly, I understand, it seems like market sentiment is a lot more interested in, directionally where the prices are heading than the absolute. But, we have the long-term investors and the financial backing to advance San Antonio and get it into production. And quite frankly, producing at even $4,000 is an absolute dream case. So we don't really have to rely on market sentiment. And quite frankly, the people who have been supporting this company since the beginning aren't really just looking to ride momentum in one direction or the other. So it doesn't really affect us. I think $4,000 gold is an unbelievable price to be producing gold at. So let's get there and add value, and hopefully still be able to substantially outperform even if the market is flat, because we're advancing from that developer to producer curve.
I mean, so just kind of finishing up, if you don't mind, I get it. We kind of, the resource is going to come out and then followed by the PA, set back a couple of months. I think that makes a lot of sense. But give me and the people watching this a sense of, what the prize is, what the opportunity is in front of us in terms of what is it that you're building, and what does that ultimately mean in terms of the margin available to you at these prices?
Yeah, so I'd say what we're actually building here is we're taking an existing heap leach operation that was in production as recently as 2021, and we're doing the necessary expansion to go after a new deposit. Right, so the infrastructure we have there is we already have an oxide processing plant for the gold. We have a crusher capacity ponds, camp, power line. It's like we're taking an existing mine and then just having to add the necessary capex to expand it. So, if you had to build everything we have from scratch today, stuff that we already have in place at the project, maybe it would cost $100 million to build. So if we were to take some, I guess, estimates of what finishing the build would cost, probably something in the range of $50 million is a fair estimate at this point. And that gets you into production for a heap leach mine, specifically at the starter pit of Sapuchi. And, when you look at the grade of the resource, which is sitting at 0.8 grams per ton for a heap leach, that's something that gets you in bottom quartile costs and very good margin. I mean, that kind of grade on a heap leach has been making phenomenal margin in gold price environments of $1,500 gold, $2,000 gold, let alone $4,000.
Okay, well, look, John, appreciate you coming on. Keep us up to date with that drilling as it comes through, and obviously if anything else changes, let us know. Thanks very much.
Yep, thanks, Matt.